How's it going, folks? Globku here with another MHOJ2 Justice 2 video. It has been a while, but we had to come back for the newest DLC character, and Tetsutetsu has been sort of splitting in the community. No one wants to see another Kirishima, no one wants to see a recycled moveset. This character actually behaves quite differently, and at first glance he is quite busted. That said, after playing a few matches and after figuring out his weaknesses, he might be on the bottom side of the tier list. That's just my guess. I honestly haven't played MHOJ2 Justice competitive in a really long time. I know a lot of you want me to make an updated tier list, especially with a new patch coming out today as well. But the truth is, I'm just nowhere near a place where I can judge these characters competitively. I just haven't played the game that way in a very long time. I'm afraid you're gonna have to look somewhere else. We haven't held My Hero tournaments in a while as well. But what I'll do is I'll leave in the description and in the pinned comment 2 Discord servers that are running tournaments on a regular basis. One of them is focused more on the Switch, and another one is focused on the PlayStation 4. Those servers are full of skilled players, people who are way better than me, and I'm sure they can give you the tier list you desire. So, without further ado, let's look at Tetsutetsu, starting with his basic attacks. Just smash the attack button and his grounded auto combo is this. Simple 3 hits, knocks the opponent really far away. Can't really combo into much after the 3rd hit, so you're gonna have to stop at the 2nd one if you want to combo into something. In the air, it's 3 hits and puts the opponent in a big bounce state like that. Very easy to combo into whatever you want. His grounded yellow attack is pretty fast. I found that this attack can actually interrupt other yellow attacks on reaction, which really takes me back to MHOJ2 Justice, the original MHOJ2 Justice days, where that was actually the right thing to do. And in the air, his yellow attack is awesome. It's kind of slow in comparison, but it does bring Tetsu back to the ground, which means from this you can actually do special attacks as if you were on the ground. So that's going to be really useful in combos. But before we get to combos, we got to look at his red attack. His red attack puts him in the air, and you can follow up with an aerial combo. That's it for his normals. Let's look at his quirks. First up, Quirk 1 is this dashing move. This dashing move, as you can see, has him activate his armor at the start, so it is an armored attack. This move is great to put in block strings because it can bait your opponent's buttons, and you can also dash cancel it on block, baiting even more buttons if someone's trying to catch their recovery. Next, Tilt Quirk 1 is a flurry of punches, and it actually has 3 variants. If you just hit it once, it does this. If you hit it once and mash it, it finishes with the knee. And if you keep mashing after the knee, he's actually gonna jump up, grab the opponent, throw him back down for a big ground slam. In the air, this behaves similarly, but it doesn't have the ground slam. So if you just press it once, it finishes with that uppercut, which is way easier to extend with assists. But if you mash it, it finishes with a dash. This special also has a property, which is being able to cancel this into the first quirk. The dash, you remember this dash? You can cancel this move only in the air. After the mash, you go into the dash. Next up, Quirk 2 is a hit grab. This is blockable. You can block this, but basically whether you're in the air or the ground, he's gonna try to grab you. So in the ground, he would do something like this, slam you. Beautiful. In the air, this is actually very good for wall splats. It travels quite the distance. Let's try getting it further away. Look at that travel. Easy wall splats if you're facing the right direction. Now, this grab is not like Orca's. You cannot direct it after you hit it. It's just gonna throw it wherever Tetsutetsu is facing. And finally, the last quirk is a bit unique. It is the Bull Rush, and you can just hold it for a really long time. He armors in front of him, but he is vulnerable in the back, so if someone just reaches your back and hits you, it will actually interrupt the Bull Rush. But this is actually a combo starter. You cannot combo into the Bull Rush, but you can start a combo with the Bull Rush. Do be careful though, because if it is blocked, you are unsafe, and it has quite the big recovery actually. In the air, it's actually pretty good. You cannot hold it forever, but it is plus on block and will beat most of the opponent's options if they decide to mash. So it's a great tool for getting in for sure. It does have limited range and a big recovery on whiff, so it's also dangerous to use it wildly, but if you connect and the opponent doesn't block, you get a free combo. Next, let's look at his plus ultras, and the plus ultras are actually where his big gimmick lies. He's gonna activate his armored state and unleash the level 1 here. Both of his plus ultras are grounded only, but now you can see that it's full steel. This armor is even better than Kirishima's. First of all, you're fully invulnerable. It's not like Kirishima's. When Kirishima armors up, he still takes the damage. Tetsutetsu, on the other hand, he can armor through everything and he's completely invulnerable. Even counterattacks won't break it at all, unlike Kirishima's armor. The one thing that will go through it is unblockable attacks, but even after that, if the opponent decides to combo, you will just be invulnerable again. So unless the opponent figures out a way of comboing only with with right attacks, you're totally fine. Now, this seems absolutely busted, right? Except there's one really big weakness here, because look at his guard gauge. The guard gauge is slowly depleting while he is in his armored state, and there is no way for you to manually deactivate the armored state, which means at some point, you won't even be able to block. You won't have any armor, and any attack or assist from the opponent will actually destroy your armor. And since running away and jumping around and time wasting is so powerful in My Hero 1 Justice 2, what will most likely happen whenever you activate your armor is players will run away and just stay safe. Even if you manage to chase them down and start your own combo, you still have to catch them like 3 times because they have 2 assists to break your combos. And while armored up, Tetsutetsu really isn't the fastest character in the roster, it can be pretty easy to run away. Even Rappa can time waste effectively. To increase your chances of catching your opponent, I highly recommend using Bull Rush and assists that track the opponent really well. Otherwise, it's gonna be really tough for Tetsutetsu to catch up to them and make any use of that armor. That said, both his Plus Ultra 1 and Plus Ultra 2 activate the armor during the cutscene, which makes these supers really good frame 1 reversals. So if the opponent is pressuring you, you're in a block string, feel free to mash that Plus Ultra button. You will most likely catch them, you'll most likely reverse it, but even if you whiff it, don't worry about it, the armor still comes through. Finally, we have to look at his assists, so even if you don't want to play Tetsutetsu, is it worth having him on your team? Tetsutetsu is amongst the slowest assists, so if you use him as an active assist, it will take 20 seconds for him to come back. If you use him as a guard break, it will take 40 seconds. With that big of a cooldown, he's gotta be an overpowered assist, right? Well, on the ground, he does that armor dash, so it works as a reversal assist. You can use him defensively, he will armor through most attacks, no problem. And in the air, he does that flurry of punches, which is actually pretty easy to combo into and to combo afterwards. The assist definitely seems fine, it seems good enough. I don't know if it warranted the slowest cooldown, but it's alright. So now that we know all of his moves, here are some tips on how to play him. These are some beginner-friendly combos, stuff that I lapped pretty fast, does some decent damage, but keep in mind that Tetsutetsu's damage is kind of limited because a lot of his moves will meteor, and that is this sound right here. That sound right there, the big splash that forces the opponent into a knockdown and forces your combo to end. Most of Tetsutetsu's moves have a big meteor value, which means they hit hard, but they're gonna end your combo soon. So on the ground, from 2 attacks, you go into the grab, that gives you the ground splat, and from there, you do the unblockable, full air combo, 3 attacks, into yellow, into tilt, quirk 1, mash that, into the dash. If you start with a combo in the air, you can just go for a full auto combo confirm into that, and because you're on the ground, you're gonna get that ground splat again. Now, the route is similar, but you cannot do this. It will end the combo immediately. So the best route is the one we have on screen instead, which omits the 3rd attack in the air and the yellow attack as well. So it would be something like this. Of course, you can also go for the 3rd attack in the air and the yellow, but you'll be forsaking 400 damage from that. If you have a wall in front of you and you start a combo in the air, then this is even better. You get the wall splat, and Tetsutetsu actually has super easy gravity resets. Look at this time. Oh my god, I have so much time to confirm into that. And from here we go into the aerial combo that we just lapped. If you're trying to extend the combo with assists, the best spot to do it seems to be after attack into tilt quirk 1. But make sure to not mash the tilt quirk 1, because if you guys remember, when you mash it, he ends that with a dash, and the dash is harder for some assists to catch. If you don't mash it, he ends with that punch that leaves the opponent closer to you, which makes it a lot easier for assists to catch him. As far as comboing into supers, I think most times he will just super as a reversal. When the opponent is approaching, when the opponent is trying to apply pressure, you'll just do them raw. In fact, it doesn't seem that he's able to combo into supers from most of his attacks. Just like 2 attacks into super doesn't work. So if you're close to killing your opponent and you really want to throw a super in there, I would most likely look for ground splats or wall splats. Also keep in mind that when Tetsutetsu is armored up, he moves slower and his attacks also have a bigger hit stop, so don't let that trip you up. The attacks mostly behave the same with the exception exception of the air combo, which if you unleash all 3 attacks, it will ground splat. So you can never unleash the 3 attacks in the air while you are armored up if you want to keep your combo going after that. He also gains a small damage buff, so you'll be dealing more damage just with the combos you've already practiced. So Tetsutetsu's damage isn't that impressive because character's meteor way too soon and he can't extend his combos too much. On top of that, in neutral he has no projectiles and he kinda has a hard time getting in. I mean, you have the bull charge, which looks really strong, but the bull charge has a lot of weaknesses. First of all, you can get hit from behind, which happens all the time. Second, your bull charge can clash with projectiles, bringing the bull charge to an end, and you'll have a lot of recovery after that. If you're gonna use bull charge, make sure you have an assist ready to cover for you whenever your opponent blocks or whenever you clash with a projectile or something. Your greatest tools for getting in are the armored dash, which you can dash cancel in case the opponent blocks, and the bull rush from the air, which is actually plus on block and will catch most of your opponent's buttons. That said, when you're armored up, you're actually slower and it will be super effective to just zone you out or simply to run away from you, which makes this busted armor, invincible, absolutely broken mechanic something that's actually super easy to deal with because you just run away. That's the answer to most things in this game, isn't it? Just run away. I do like Tetsutetsu on block though. He can bait a lot of stuff, a lot of buttons, because a lot of his moves are armored up. So if the opponent is patient, you can just keep going until you guard break them, and if they're not patient, you can just bait the buttons out with your armored dash. But yeah, perhaps he's a character that has one too many flaws. I would love that armor gimmick if he could only cancel it on his own. But after he activates it, since running away is so effective, it just feels like a big downside afterwards. Your guard meter is empty. You can't even block. You're gonna get punished. Guaranteed. And on top of it, his damage output doesn't seem that impressive. Maybe someone will find something. I mean, he does have gravity resets that are pretty easy to pull off, but at a first glance, this character just isn't gonna do much in a competitive setting. Is he fun to play though? I think his gimmick isn't really unique enough. I came into this review open-minded, thinking he's obviously not gonna be another Kirishima. Like, the developers know they're not just gonna add the same gimmick again. And they did change it up, but it still feels kinda similar, which maybe it should. I mean, they both have the same quirk pretty much. But whenever I buy DLC, I like to get something different. I like to get a unique playstyle that I haven't tried out before in this game, and Tetsutetsu just doesn't feel that unique. That said, DLC characters in this game are pretty affordable. Where they usually overpriced stuff is in the costume packs. Like, that shit is way overpriced. But if it's overpriced because they actually give us affordable DLC, then I'm all for it. So that's my opinion. That's my review of Tetsutetsu. I wish he was a more interesting character. His armor looked really strong at first when I picked him up, but the downside is just way too big and it's way too easy to avoid it. If you want to talk more about this character or this game, make sure to join me on Twitch. I haven't been playing it lately, but I always start my streams with a good healthy dose of just chatting, where we talk about anime games, whatever you guys want, and I'd be happy to discuss it more with you. Link down below, give me a follow. I've been streaming every weekday. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name's Globku and I'll see you next time. Bye.